Well, Chad, we have our first caller of the evening. If you would, go ahead with your question, please. This is Joseph. Joseph, you're going to need to turn your TV off so you can hear us.
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
I got you. Go ahead with your question, Joseph.
Yes, yes. I've been separated from my wife for several years, and we own a place out on Panama City Beach. And I found out by accident that she had forged my name to the deed and said I gave it to her for $1.
Ooh. Joseph, that is something that unfortunately we're seeing more and more of. There's actually been some criminal prosecutions here in the 14th Circuit with individuals that have transferred deeds into entities. So that's something that you absolutely need to go, because the clerk is in recording deeds. That's a ministerial job, and what I mean by that is they accept what is given to them. But that does not mean that that's some credibility or credence to what was done. So if you can, in fact, establish and prove, consistent with what you've said, this is a forgery, that you did not do that, that you did not transfer that, then that's absolutely something that can be unwound. So that's something that you need to, we'll get your number and contact you off air and make sure we can get you to someone that can assist you with that. But another issue that Joseph has pointed out here is that there's some situations here where Joseph is still married, and this becomes important if something were to, God forbid, happen to Joseph and he has not severed those ties. Chad, I know that there's certain rights that a spouse is entitled to, even if you were to have a will and try to disinherit them. How do those issues get dealt with and addressed?
Yeah, so I mean, when we use that term separated a lot in our, just day-to-day lives, but in reality, Florida does not have a legal separation.
Right.
You're either married or you're not married, and that means you had a divorce. So if a spouse has a piece of property with another spouse's name on it, and you try to say that piece of property goes to your best friend or your sister through your will, well, that's probably not going to happen. So by virtue of how we hold property in the state of Florida, usually it's special language called tenants by the entirety, just a fancy way of saying husband and wife own this. And so when one spouse goes, it goes to that surviving spouse, regardless of your will.
Right.
So,
something that you absolutely need to look into, Joseph, and I'm sorry you're dealing with that. But we do have another call on the line. I believe this is Rob. Rob from Panama City Beach. Go ahead with your question, sir.
Yes, my question has to do with a family trust. I have some colleagues that are putting personal real estate into a family trust. And my question is, if I do that, do I get a stepped-up basis, or do my heirs get a stepped-up basis at my death?
Okay, good question, Rob.
Yeah.
That's a tax-related question. Chad, do you happen to have an appreciation for how that works with
Absolutely.
the basis when you put it into a family trust like that?
Yeah, so Rob, first off, my caveat's
Right.
always, I'm not a tax attorney, I'm not a CPA, but I know enough to be dangerous. And yes, when you have a trust, and we're dealing with basically heirs who are going to be inheriting property from your trust, they do get a step up in basis. And for all the folks listening at home who may not know what that is,
please, thank you.
that basically means if you bought a piece of property worth $100,000 and when you died it's worth $500,000, well, now your children or your loved ones take that value at $500. So if they sold it immediately, no capital gains.
Very good. So hopefully that helps you, Rob, and can help make you decide what's best for you.